the Greater Accra Regional Minister and also Monsieur Dunketia earlier. They are all moving to the various polling stations to do their checks. And just as he said, every person who is here is optimistic that the candidate would emerge victorious at the end of the day. We still in the constituency, bringing you up to speed details on what is transpiring here.
This is your election headquarters. Trust us to bring you undiluted coverage of what's happening in Ablekuma North, in the 19 polling stations that the Electoral Commission is rerunning, elections there. Well, I say stay with us because we will get you all the fact that is happening there. Let's get back to our smart wall. Kofi, you were on the proxy stronghold.
Yeah. Right? I mean, and I was saying that when you have proxy strongholds and you are not able to transport people at a certain point in time, you have a very short period of time to move people around, it actually results in lower turnouts, right? And let's look at places in the main elections, right? If the main strongholds have low turnout, the proxy strongholds will also have very low turnout. Okay. Because already the organic strongholds are suffered. People, the propensity to vote is very low, so it is difficult to even convince people to even come to other places to go and vote. And so it all boils down to the national picture. But what makes Ablekuma not so special is that 19 polling stations. And I'll be taking you through all the 19 polling stations, their registered voters, and why political parties, when they were doing their groundwork, decided to stick with certain places because of the numbers. Right?
But if you look at the total number of
registered
voters, over 6,000.
Yeah.
Expected a little over 4,000. We have made the point that in Ablekuma North, if you pick every 10 voter, about 7 of them would tilt towards the MPP. So it means that you're looking at 70% of this 4,000 to go for the MPP, if all things being equal.
Absolutely.
So can the MPP then, or can the NDC, based on the goodwill their government is enjoying, say that even though 70% of this 4,000 can go for the MPP, but because of our goodwill, we may flip the seat?
This answers your question. I want us to go back to this chart, and you understand why the NDC already is in the minority and why MPP is the main deal when it comes to who is in the majority. Because already...
hold on and get my question for me. But let's take you back to Ablekuma North now. Let's go to the grounds where our reporters are to bring you what's happening now.
Sorry, what has been your observation so far? So we missed your earlier conversation. What has been your observation so far? You've been to a couple of the polling stations. What has been your observation so far?
Oh, I am not impressed with the macho men they are trooping around with. It's the same thing that happened in 2024, and they are doing the same thing. But luckily, the police command have been able to deploy a lot of policemen here. But I feel with Methodist here, it's not enough. This is the same place the NDC constituency organizer tore the pink sheets and everything and bent everything. This is the same place. And he just went there, tore our album from our people. He tore them, intimidated them just right now. They've started the same thing again. Do you get what I mean? Yes. And this is the same place those things happen. So I feel that the police should beef up security.
Oh, no, but have you spoken to the police about the situation?
Yes, I've told them.
And what was the response?
Oh, he says we should exercise patience and that they will work. But I know justice will prevail. You see my word. Every time I speak to you, I say justice will prevail. God is alive, and God will never disgrace the widow. God will never disgrace the widow.
How's the voter turnout for the MP?
Wonderful. It's going well. Yes, people are coming out, but they are trying to intimidate them. People are coming out. Thank you, my dear.
All right, so that is Honorable Carefree, the parliamentary candidate for the Ablekuma North constituency. But we want to get closer because we've seen Sami Awuku, we've seen Miracles also in here. We want to engage them there. This is the situation. We want to get closer. So this is what you see here.
How have you been?
I'm good. Observation so far. How many police stations have you been to?
I've been to about 9 so far. And I mean, I think so far we've had some smooth run of it, except that, 60 police officers in one police station. 60 policemen. In fact, the number of
MPP what is he doing here? They have announced that they are not contesting this election. We are all aware. What is he doing here?
So let me tell you what we are doing here. We are restoring the voice of the people.
He's doing Baumia's campaign.
We are restoring the voice of the people.
Presidential campaign for them.
This is where his scent is meant to burn the pink sheet. Here.
How can a pastor do
his
that?
constituency organizer is seen tearing apart pink sheets. This is where it happened. That's why you see 60 policemen. If you look at the album, how many people are even coming to vote? We have more policemen than the people who are coming to vote. And the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC entered here with more numbers than the number of people in the album. What kind of intimidation is this? What kind of democracy are we running? Should we all go home and leave it to them?
How can you intimidate a party?
Should we all go home and leave it to them? You saw the number of entourage he came with. But I thank God today is a Friday. And so I'm very confident that on a Friday, a senior imam like him, he will comport himself.
There's been issues and there's been cases of vote buying, especially around this area. Have you chanced up? Have you heard that?
By MPP?
Both.
Brian Achampo donated 200,000. Baumia donated 400,000. Now they are donating presidential camps. So I won't be surprised they are sharing. But as for us, we are stabilizing the economy. We don't have money to share. We have goodwill messages to give. They say they are not participating in the election. They told all of us. So I don't see why they are here. Why are their principles?
You saw the reports going around yesterday about the Jubilee House bringing 10 million into their constituency for just 19 police stations, 10 million. This morning, there's a video on one of your sister stations where the gentleman was asked after he finished voting what happened. And then he said he's received 100 cedis from the NDC candidate to come and vote. He's on record. In fact, I'm actually pushing that video to the OSP. Because he's the one that's arresting people for vote buying. Ask him. The gentleman said he received Momo. And this can be verified. Because all we need to do is to go to MTN and actually verify whether he's lying or not. Because I am not the gentleman. I don't vote here. But he confirmed that he received 100 cedis from the NDC candidate to come and vote. Why are we selling our democracy? Why are we buying the will of the people? I don't know what the NDC think they are doing. Ablekuma North is voting.
Say these are allegations yet.
But that's exactly what I said.
What took the MPP to opposition.
Didn't I say that the gentleman is on video?
Yeah.
And the gentleman has yet finished voting? Mm-hmm. You see, they can buy as much as they want. But there's one thing that I know for sure. What I know for sure is that Ablekuma North elections today is to halt a possible parliamentary dictatorship. Ablekuma people are not just voting for a leader, they are voting to halt the possibility of handing over this country's constitution into the hands of one people for them to manipulate and do whatever they want. They are doing it for the mother Ghana, and that is why we are here to ensure that nobody intimidates them. They are looking for an absolute 2/3 majority, and he knows it. Ask him whether he is for John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, going for the 3rd term or not. He will tell you that he doesn't know and that he hasn't been told anything yet. We are working at ensuring that there is balance in our democracy. And the people of this country should not be intimidated from doing that.
Miracles was at the presidency.
Have you finished sharing the money?
This is...
I met him there sharing some money. I met him there sharing money. Have you finished sharing? Or you are here to share for that?
With which Nanado destroyed this country, they are the ones campaigning here.
Okay, so that is the situation here. You've heard a lot from Mustafa and also Miracles here, right here inside the polling center here at the Methodist Church, Odorkor 1. And a lot of people are still trooping in here. The security is doing their possible best to make sure that everything is under control, because according to the security, there shouldn't be any form of campaigning right closer to the polling the polling station. So that's currently what is happening here. We also see Sami Awuku in here too.
We are refrained from anything that will mar the process, and that is why you've seen we're conducting ourselves well. Those in office, those mandated by the state to protect the people and protect the electoral process, must ensure that they are also doing the right thing. I want to state that don't let us believe the rumors we are hearing that the last few hours towards the end of polls will be when the violence will be at its peak. We've gone almost through half of the day, and we believe that it's been relatively peaceful. But we do not trust the NDC in this process. Let me be very honest. I don't trust them in this process. And that is why we are vigilant. Because I've seen many of their operations boys. As we say, we want the police to do their work. It doesn't mean that we also do not have the same boys that they do. But we've been very restrained in ensuring that we also go by the rules. That notwithstanding, the MPP will also help provide security to support our candidates and our people at the various polling stations, to also help give them comfort. Let the police do their part. As citizens, we also will do our part. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so that is Sami Awuku here, and he also just finished speaking about the fact that, according to him, they are in for. He's talking about the fact that they don't want to hear that at the end of the day there's been chaos and there's been this kind of issues and all that. So we're still trying to engage a lot of the party executives that we see here at the Ablekuma North Constituency. We've been asked to move the interviews and the conversations outside the premises to allow the voters come in and vote, because some of them, according to the security, it was sort of in a way influence their vote, or even it's even a way of campaigning, which is not allowed when it comes to elections. So we've been asked to move out. So as you can see, everybody is out of the perimeter now to do whatever engagements that they want to do here at the Odorkor Methodist 1. But then, to anyone who is just watching, this very location is used to be the collation center for the 2024 elections. Yes, this very center, and this is where all the chaos started until it was recollated, and a whole lot until it finally resulted in a rerun. So the number of voters expected here is 464 voters. I'm yet to confirm the number of voters that have voted so far, but that is the current situation in here at the Ablekuma North. We don't know what is going on, but we see everyone being asked to move.
Okay, so
okay,
I mean, we're still
that is still Mustafa Vande in the shots over there. We've engaged him earlier. We engaged him earlier.
So that there you have visuals coming in from the Odorkor Methodist Church. That is the polling station that was used as a collation during the 2024 election. That had some violence that disrupted the process, and it is looking like an interesting spot. So our colleague Jacqueline will still be there to bring you whatever that will be going on there. I mean, you saw Sami Awuku, he's a former national organizer of the party. He knows, and now he's an MP there. You also saw Bande there. You saw Miracles Abuaje, aide to Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. You saw, I think this was also the area that Johnson Asiedu Nketia came.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, you've seen the regional minister there, Linda Oklu, also getting there. So quite an interesting spot.
That place is actually the focal point. It's very, very important. You heard Jackie there, and we'll go to the numbers very soon. If you look at the top 5 polling stations with the highest number of registered voters. Methodist is one of them, right? But we were talking about turnouts, right?
Yeah.
And your question you asked, and it's simple. You know that from 1996 to 2020, NDC has been in the minority. To even think of getting 40% was a dream, because the highest they've done was 38% in 2012, 38.23% in 2012. So to get to this point where we have to do a rerun of 19 polling stations to decide, it gives the NDC that strong conviction that, well, we are making inroads and we can possibly win in this place. That brings me back to the point I was making, whether Ablekuma is indeed an organic stronghold or a proxy stronghold, where if you don't, bus people into the constituency, you will not be able to win that. And we understand that in 2024, one dynamic that changed the outcome of the election was turnout. And Ablekuma North suffered heavily in terms of the turnout, where they got just 62% of the registered voters. If y'all can actually give me that slide, that would be very good. Where you see how Ablekuma has actually tanked in terms of convincing people to come and vote. As it stands now, if you select 10 registered voters, the likelihood that all of them will come out to vote is very low. You can only get 6 out of that 10 to come out and vote because of the numbers we are seeing. But Kojo, I want us to go back to and start looking at some of all the 19 polling stations and see the registered voters and how they've come so far. But I mean, before we even go to that registered voters or the rank we have done, we said Ablekuma is 100% urban. Yeah. It means that people move in and out. And then also that place is majorities. So most of the places are, residential areas. So people come there, they come and rent places.
And then they leave.
And then they leave, right? It's mostly like a settler urban community where people move in and out. And so when you look at transfer of when there's that period, political parties tend to protect those areas where are majority urban, residential areas, because they know that there's a high likelihood that there are voters who have actually moved in and out, right? Yeah.
Okay, let's take you to the grounds now, because James Aveji is speaking to the General Secretary of the NDC, Fifi Fiavekwete now.
But as far as we are confident,
Apologies for the quality of the sound there, but we'll take you back for that particular interaction between James Aveji and Fifi Fiavekwete, the General Secretary of the NDC. Kofi.
It all boils down to turnout, right?
Yeah.
And in fact, the national picture stands somewhere around 64%. Okay. So it will be interesting to see the direction that Ablekuma will go in terms of this 19 polling stations. It will be when we do the simulation and also the modeling. At what point are you going to have people coming out to vote? We'll look at that data very soon and see how the turnout is going to look like in Ablekuma North. Okay,
let me take you back to the conversation between James Aveji and Fifi Kwete now. Okay, all right. I will bring you that particular conversation later. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's go to the data and tell the story behind the numbers. Very important. And we've been looking at, for me, this chart is fascinating. If you look at how the turnout has actually declined. And for me, one key reason is that this is a proxy majority, where although...
But let me ask you a question. Since when did they start? Exactly, because if you look at the data, 96, MPP won it. MPP won it, right? This is this is turnout. But 96, MPP won it. 2000, 2004, 2008, 2012. Is that a characteristic of a proxy stronghold?
Well, so one thing that we also need to put across is that there are points where organic majority or strongholds move from organic to,
proxy. Okay.
Depending on the people living. If you take a look at Ablekuma, for instance, although you have majority of the residents in there being Akans, if you combine other tribes, you see that they also hold a significant component of the demographic makeup of that constituency. So depending on how people move in and out, a constituency can move from an organic stronghold to a proxy stronghold. And the political parties, they know. When they look at the numbers, they see the turnout, they see how they move from a certain percentage in a certain previous election to another percentage. They know that they need to do something about it. So it's either you actually bust people in to do the registration, or possibly galvanize your base and get more people to also go and vote. We also made a point of Ablekuma also having a significant component of youth being part of their, voter register. So although it could be an organic, constituency between 1996 and possibly 2008 or 12, the more you introduce new voters, the more the dynamics changes, and it actually makes it, sort of like a proxy, stronghold. Now, just look at this. If you decide to do the simulation where this was the turnout somewhere 2020, and we decide to say that, okay, let's use the 2020 86%, 68%, turnout to do the calculation. It means we're expecting some 4,666 to come out and vote, right? If you decide to use 57%, which has been the lowest, right? 3,911 people are likely to come and vote. And if we decide to use the highest ever turnout in Ablekuma, we expect 5,833. So all scenarios in this super graphic that you're seeing on the smart wall. Best case scenario or the average scenario, 4,666. Worst case scenario, 3,911. Best case scenario, 5,833. And we have said that based on historical data, if you sample 10 out of this best case scenario, NPP is likely to take 6 or 7 out of those registered voters. And so that was the conversation, and people are actually saying that this is your stronghold, whether it be proxy or organic. You shouldn't be worried about a rerun, right? Because if you look at the distribution of the 19 polling stations that we are talking about, let's look at a place, like I'm taking you through all the 19 polling stations, and we are seeing why this election is so important and why certain polling stations are very, very particular and important. God First International School, 428 people expected to go and vote, right? Pentecost Church, it has one of the highest, in fact, it's actually the highest, 635 registered voters. It will be interesting to see the atmosphere at the Pentecost Church at the moment. But per what we know and the data that we are getting from the EC ballot statistics, this is one big constituency that, in fact, whether you are convincing people or you are telling people not to vote for any other political party, you should really pay attention to Pentecost, church polling station.
Okay.
DVLA office, also very important. And when we come back to that, we'll come back from that, we'll tell you the remaining and possibly also go to the Methodist Church and see why it is also very, very important, Kojo.
All right. This is still the special edition of News Desk. It's an extended edition because we're going till 12 midday. We are covering the special rerun of the 19 polling stations in the Ablekuma North constituency. But let me bring in Dr. Victor Doke. He is a security analyst and lectures at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Doc, I'm grateful to you for joining us. Now, I'm sure you've followed the Ablekuma rerun from morning till now. What do you make of the security arrangement that you see there? Doc, if you've begun talking, then you have to unmute for me. Yeah, Doc, so if you had my question, I want to pick your thought on the security arrangement or presence you've seen in Ablekuma North this morning. Well, Doc, good morning to you. Okay. We have Dr. Victor Doke. He's a security analyst and a lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. So we'll bring him on quite shortly so we can have this chat together. Doc, if I have you, I want you to tell me what you make of the security presence at the Ablekuma North as you've seen today. Okay, we'll bring that to you later. Let me come into the studio and listen to Kofi. Kofi, you're making a point about, you know, the voter count in all of these polling stations as we have.
Well, so the average is around 431, but definitely you see there are outliers. There are constituencies that are above the average, there are polling stations that are above the average, and there are others that are below the average. And so I was telling you the story of the DVLA office being, I think, the second or third highest, 613 registered voters.
That's where Aveji was this morning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in fact, if you really want to win this election, you should be targeting God First International School. If you want to win, you need a certain component of that. Pentecost Church, DVLA office, a Siedu Jedu Memorial, also about 418 registered voters also there. I mean, if you go through the other, 19, polling stations, you see why this is important and why turnout has become the most important conversation in this. When we come back from that, I mean, we will go more into the remaining polling stations and why they are so important and the probability of you getting more from the number of people who would turn out will really decide where Ablekuma North will decide to go.
Turnout matters, but let's take you to the Methodist church now, where Jacqueline Swanyabua is standing by.
Okay, so these are some of the scenes in here at the Ablekuma North Constituency. What I was there from afar, they are still trying to make sure they gather their people to come around to vote. But you heard earlier what the MPP party faithful said about what transpired here earlier. Even though we missed, but we had someone called us to come closer that there was a bit of misunderstanding here, and that was what he narrated. It was a misunderstanding between the two parties, the MPP and the NDC, right here closer to the filling station, close to the polling station here at the Ablekuma North Constituency.
But let me bring in Dr. Victor Doke now. He is a security analyst and a lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. He's joining us via Zoom. Doc, I wanted to pick your thought on the security presence you've seen in Ablekuma North. You can even comment on what you've seen. We understand there was some misunderstanding of a sort there, but I mean, they've been able to resolve it.
Right. Thank you. Good morning. I hope the voice is okay now.
Very okay, yes.
Right. So with regards to the security preparations, one, what I've heard from the police themselves is on paper, deployment of about 100 or so personnel at the polling station.
Yes, 100 per polling station, that's what we know.
Yeah, 100 per polling station. But on the ground, what I've seen is not 100. In some places, that this one I passed through before coming to the office, it's not 100. Now, even with regards to what we are seeing now on screen, I've counted about 4 of them. So where are the rest of the 90 something? So I don't know if the 100 is really reflective on the ground, but they should have that reflection on paper on the ground. If it is not the case, because it's enough to even have any kind of misunderstanding. So it shouldn't even, exaggerate or extend to physical, confrontations. 100 is so much enough to curtail any sort of misunderstandings and to even respond to any situation in regards to whoever wants to disturb the exercise. So I think in all, they should, take a look at it. Well, those areas probably where it's less than 100, they should try and then add up to the numbers. But so far, the patrol with regards to the police service is high. I've seen a lot of them patrolling. I've seen the men gear up very well. I hope the momentum in that regard should be maintained. The preemptiveness and proactiveness with regards to responding to emergencies that would happen or reported to them should be very apt, and they shouldn't take anything for chance. Whoever flouts the laws, they should take out the person and then deal with the person according to the law. We won't want to have a situation where sympathizers of the ruling party or ruling government, would be arrested, and then we hear that because some political elite come in and all of that, they've released them. Everyone who flouts the laws will be made to face it. And I think with that, when they will send a signal to the youth who want to foment trouble to, stay away. Prior to yesterday, what I noticed was a lot of motorbikes, around with the youth, displaying here and there. And today it's limited. It's early days, yes, because they know motorbikes are not allowed, at some distance. But what happens aftermath, the voting itself? We're talking about the counting. Alertness needs to be, extended right till the end of the counting and declaration. So if after 5 p.m., we also notice that motorbikes are very rampant in areas, I think they should be able to be quick enough to, stop all these things. And I think when we are alert, we'll be able to, preempt and then be proactive in responding to any kind of situation.
I mean, what do you make of the decision by the government to say that this is internal, so we believe the police can handle it? There's no need for us to bring in the military.
Okay, so I don't know what decision went into, that specifically for the government, and thereby the Minister of Defense to come and then say the military will not be involved. Well, we're talking about elections, and ideally, the police is the lead, but then there's an election security task force. But if entirely you don't want even the military to be involved, at least you need some section, you need some men on standby just in case things go haywire to respond to or assist the police. So, in my personal opinion, I think whatever that went into that decision, they should have, taken a look at it. But it means they are very optimistic that the police can handle the situation. So, per what myself and others have described with regards to what should be done, if it is done from the police's side, then trust me, we won't have any situations. But otherwise, then it means we'll have some challenges. And what will happen means that the police will have no choice than to call in. And I don't think if the police reaches out to the military for assistance, they would, neglect that call. It wouldn't be good. So I think, although we've heard that there will be military involvement, trust me, when the need arises, you will see the military coming in to assist the security force.
Before I let you go, I mean, you've proposed what the police should do in this particular election, 19 polling stations. Can you refresh us to understand what your position is as to what the police should do to maintain peace and order in this process?
One, neutrality is very key. Immediately the citizens see you take inside, then they begin to, point fingers, allegations fly here and there, and it makes it difficult for you to execute your mandate. Now, when you remain neutral, everybody will trust you. That's number one. Number two, be bold, assertive, and as we've spoken, proactiveness and preemptiveness of the situation before it gets out of hand. We are there to cooperate and collaborate with all the officials there. If anything is happening, you should be able to ask the EC officials whether you can do A, B, or C. Call for reinforcement when needed and necessary. The moment you see large young groups with big motorbikes, as we're seeing now, people wearing military paraphernalia or something that looks like military paraphernalia, and you have to call in emergency response team, you call in the emergency response team to come and then assist with the situation. You observe, you monitor. Now, all those young guys, as we are looking at from the screen now, motorbike helmets on their head, going in there. What is it for? And you see the policemen over there. So then, this is the situation we are talking about. Assertiveness, proactiveness. We all saw they entered. Did the police try to stop them? I don't think so. So what is going to happen if this will continue? Okay? So I think the 100 men is okay. Is it reflective on the ground? If it is reflective on the ground, we will not be seeing what we are seeing here. Could you? Are you?
Okay, Doug, hold on. Let me take you to the grounds now.
That is what you can see inside. You can get a closer look. The doors are locked, but that is what you can see here. I want to. That is what is happening right inside here at the. So that is some fight happening right inside here. That is what is happening here. So that is the fight, that is the chaos that is happening right inside your Odorkor Methodist church. All we saw were that we saw some marksmen enter the premises. So the police is in here trying to halt whatever that is happening. You can see that the men who entered, they have been apprehended. Okay, so that is what is happening. That is what, if you get a closer view, the members are fighting with the police there. That is what is happening. Okay, so they've moved to the back. They've moved to the back of the building. So these are some of the scenes, the sights and sounds that you are seeing in here at the Blakuma North Odorkor Methodist Church.
Okay, I want to find out from you.
Here. Security and a lot of cars coming in here at the polling station here at the Ablekuma North. There's still chaos here. There's more chaos outside here. There's more chaos outside here. There's more chaos here. Oh, Jesus. A lady has been slapped. Wow. Sorry. Jesus. Hey. No, but why did you slap? One of our reporters has just been assaulted. Jesus. One of our reporters has just been assaulted. One of the members, they've just assaulted one of our reporters. Come. One of our reporters have been
It's one of the hazards.
No, he really hit her. He really hit her. He really hit her.
Not the best. Sweetheart,
No, he just hit her.
It's okay.
She was just even turning away. And the officers are all standing there. They didn't see her. They're all standing there. Did you just see that they hit her? Look at them standing there. Stop crying.
Well, I mean, quite unfortunate scenes we are seeing there. I mean, I just don't know what that was about. And I'm trying to know whether the electoral materials have been destroyed, because I saw young men troop into the area. They started causing commotion. In the end, we've seen our reporter assaulted. You just cannot understand what exactly, led to that. And I'm sure we'll get Jacqueline on the line to help us understand, make sense of exactly what happened there. I want to understand the impact of that on the election process, because the way they came in there causing commotions, I'm sure the electoral officers had to pack and go somewhere. Those who are coming to vote probably may not even have the appetite again to come and vote. What is all this about? I really want to understand that for an election that you're expecting about 6,000 people to vote, and we are subjecting ourselves to this level of commotion. It's just mind-boggling. This is not something we expected to see. Maybe, like Dr. Victor Doka was saying, this could then get the government to change its approach to this particular process. Now, if the military were there, could this have happened? And who really are they? What was their purpose? For an election to just declare or get a process completed in 19 polling stations in Ablekuma North, and young people are doing this, what for? I really want to understand what led to this intrusion and who these people are. No. I'm sure the government is watching. I'm sure the Minister of Defense is watching. I'm sure the IGP is watching. We cannot go this way. This must be stopped. This should not escalate to anywhere else. And for those of you who are in Ablekuma, This is just your civil right to choose a leader. It is not an avenue for you to injure anyone. So please, if you're a youth in Ablekuma and someone comes to you to say, go and do this, don't. But I have Dr. Victor Odorkor with me on the line. Doc, you are seeing this. You are a security analyst. What do you make of what happened?
Well, first of all, it's very disgraceful, disappointing. I hope your reporter is safe though, and they should take care of all professional measures in trying to send this information. Now, this is exactly what we're talking about: being preemptive and proactive with regards to responding to situation. Now, if you say you have 100 personnel on the ground, there is a commander over there, and there should be an approach in securing the perimeter, the inner perimeter. Was this done? If so, you would definitely have been able to stop the gentleman, because when you condone or you barricade the outer perimeter, it means everybody coming in from the outer to the inner to the core would have to go through some level of processes. Voters will go through. So the moment you do that, you definitely would realize that these young men coming in a group like this with helmets on their head so they won't be identified, with hoodies on so they won't be identified, there's a purpose for which they are coming. You quickly respond. But yet again, if we are able to equip the police on the ground with at least batons or jack-up, okay? If you're not going to give them weapons, the patrol teams who are there should have enough on them, so that if these things happen, imagine this is the only police station we are experiencing it. What about if it happens in five police stations simultaneously? What's going to be the response mechanism? Okay, so there should be a lot of patrolling. The formed police unit should be called in. They should be able to curb this immediately before it gets out of hand. As it stands now, they lost control over them. They couldn't stop these young men. And you saw how some of them were just standing by, because you can't.
Okay.
So you need what? Assistance. If the government will backtrack and then call the bishop,
well, Doc, I'm grateful to you, but let's bring you so there's our young lady. Oh, look at her eye. I mean, so it looks like she was punched in the eye. I mean, this cannot happen. Such a young girl. You probably end her aspiration to be a journalist from this experience. That cannot be the case. Look at her eyes, all red now. I'm really trying to keep myself from using certain words. But a young man cannot look at a young lady like this and decide to assault her for whatever reason, that you are trying to give someone's mother a job. So you have to assault a young sister. Why should that be the case? The way Jacqueline shouted, it presupposes that this young lady was punched in the eye. How many times have we men even punched each other in the eye? How much more a young lady? You punch that young lady in the eye just like that. This is happening in Ablekuma North. And as I know, Jacqueline has been at the Odorkor Methodist polling station. So I presume this is where this particular, attack has happened. That this young lady with our social media team has been assaulted this way. But you're still watching the coverage of what's happening in Ablekuma North. The Electoral Commission is having a rerun of 19 polling stations. And we are there in all of these 19 polling stations to bring you whatever is happening there. But Dr. Victor Odorkor is still with me. Doc, I mean, is it your call that the military, but how do we even deal with it? You are saying that we should curb this. How do we do it?
Well, Cabin means you having a lot of the personnel. And if you say you have 100 per polling station, Kojo, then it means that you are on top of the issue. Okay? Because aside the personnel you have on the ground, 100 each, okay, you are talking about the patrol team also who are equipped, ready for battle, ready for any situation. But this is not the case as we're seeing now at the Methodist Church there. Okay? You can count the number of the police personnel there and how they even responded to the situation. In certain situations like this, it's very understandable that you cannot, confront these charged young men who would throw you off. So what do? You also have to preempt this situation and then prepare better. If not, you call someone in who is what better prepared. And when the military comes in, sure, trust me, there will be law and order in some of these places. Other than that, I'm afraid what has happened now would be some sort of, a caveat for other young guys to misbehave in certain police stations if they are not satisfied with the situation there. And if this happens, it's not going to be good. Exactly.
This isn't good. Doc, but also earlier in the day, we saw a police officer in a video assaulting a young man, reportedly or alleged to be a journalist. So this adds to that particular assault. Does it tell us anything about how this process will go as the minutes pass by?
Immediately you get to experience or see this kind of incidents, then it should put you on red alert. So red alert means you now revising your approaches. Now, for any security personnel to assault a journalist is very wrong. What went into the incident itself? So if we pick that incident up and then investigate and then know why the police assaulted the journalist, then the police will be taken through the ethics, whatever, and then we brought a book. But I don't advise or encourage anybody to, in as much as you are dissatisfied with the process or whatever, assault a human being. That is very wrong. So I think we need to look at the approach with regards to even how personnel would handle journalists or even civilians on the ground there. So it doesn't come out as if, security personnel are deliberately, assaulting people who are mandated to cover or give us information. So going forward, we need a lot of, mechanisms in place, refine situations. How do we, communicate better? So if even the journalist is coaching or going to area he or she shouldn't go, how do we communicate that better for them to understand? This is what we need to do.
All right. Doc, I'm grateful to you for joining us with your viewpoint here. But the visual you're watching on the screen now is that of our colleague journalist, the young lady who has been assaulted by unknown men. We'll try and get to Jackie to understand who these people, were, those who came there to do this, those who committed this atrocity of slapping a young lady in the eye. No. This should not be happening in this day and age. This should not be happening. That a young lady is assaulted the way she has been because of elections. And this is not even an election for the entire constituency. This is a rerun of 19 polling stations. Yet young men had the effrontery to enter into a polling station to do what they've done to that young lady. No, it must not happen. But we are still there on grounds in Ablekuma North, and we'll be bringing you all that, But Doc, maybe as I still have you, is there a way journalists can really protect ourselves in these instances?
Yeah, right. So I think with regards to election coverage itself, what I know is you guys go through a lot of training, capacity building with regards to not only reporting, but how to even protect yourself in cases like this. Even observers, as we go on the ground, we are even taking through, some level of training with regards to how to protect ourselves in cases like this. Now, if you're a journalist and you're going there, one, look, around the vicinity, the area. It's advisable at least to identify somebody you know in the area that in case of any kind of situation, that person can offer some assistance. It's unfortunate you'll be posted to areas where you don't even know anybody there. The police is your friend. You introduce yourself to the security people there, and then you let them know the purpose for which you are there in case of these incidents like this. But Kojo, in the heat of the moment, anything can happen as it did. They rushed into her, and then the unfortunate thing happened. It's very difficult for any security person to, easily or come to your aid readily because they're also trying to salvage the situation and look at how best to care the incident for it not to escalate. So you are responsible for your own security. Unfortunately, when you are on the ground and reporting, any kind of approach that you take, if it is running, taking shelter somewhere, you do that. But the moment you realize there's a group of young men coming towards you, it's advisable you leave that particular area to a safe place. You can zoom in the camera and record from there. It's advisable to do that. Other than that, you take shelter within some security personnel who you know can salvage the situation in case of anything. But it's advisable that you don't get involved. Just don't get too near to the situation where the chaos is happening. Move away from that place, and then at least this first instance protective mechanisms can save your life.
If you look at the statement the police put out yesterday, they said, in addition to police station security, police will monitor vehicular and pedestrian traffic around the voting areas. Strategic barriers will be mounted to prevent unauthorized access to polling centers. Can we say the police have failed because of what we just saw?
We are using their word against the strategic barriers. What does that mean? And then the others that you were. So that is why, if you remember, I talked about the 3 layers, outer, inner, and the core. So could you imagine we had the barriers on the outer, okay? Whoever coming in, screen, voting, sure, you go in. We would have been able to keep the situation. As it is now, movement of personnel are so much, individuals are so much. You see motorbikes coming in, vehicles coming in. The candidate herself came in there with a entourage, with a vehicle. So there's no barrier with regards to entry of vehicles, which is unfortunate. And that's what we're talking about. Motorbikes shouldn't have access some meters to the voting area because of these incidents. Okay? So you realize that before the incident happened, few motorbikes back there and the guys got down and joined the others. So obviously, the mechanism with regards to security is not working. They need to revise it ASAP.
I'm grateful to you, Dr. Victor Odorkor, for joining us here. He is a security analyst and a lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Let me bring in the Executive Secretary of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, Beauty Emefa Nate. And Beauty would help me look at the suggestion by the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Linda Oklu, that some TNT money are being given. Beauty, I'm grateful to you for joining us. First of all, what's your impression of what you've seen so far from Ablekuma North?
Thank you very much. I'd like to greet your viewers and also say that it is really disheartening because we shouldn't be thinking about buying on such important day where Africa is actually commemorating Africa Anti-Corruption Day. So the significance of this day is being marked by allegations of vote buying hearing from the North Constituency. And that is unfortunate given the continuous education and awareness we continue to raise about issues of vote buying. And it's illegal because if you look at our laws, not fairly above vote buying. So why this practice will continue, it's something that we feel is unfortunate, especially for an important day as African Anti-Corruption Day.
All right. Now, let's go into the issue that Linda Oklu spoke about. I mean, she says what they did is to give TNT to those who are coming to vote. Is that really wrong to help people with transportation to aid their movement to the polling centers to vote?
So the law is so clear in terms of when we talk about vote buying. Vote buying clearly means that anything that you use to induce people directly or indirectly is vote buying. So politicians cannot try to define their own rules and regulations in terms of what the law says. And I don't think that it's proper that we countenance that. Once the law is clear in terms of any form of use, if the party wants to support its own people, then that's the different arrangement that the party is doing. If it's that one, we have raised concerns about that because of it the cost that it adds to the post campaign. So we look at how much put into campaign. It becomes expensive, right? And with all measures, it's similar in a way that reduce the cost of campaign and help people to have a fair and a competitive playing ground when they start for elections. So if people would use inducements to continue to lure voters, I think that this is something the parties themselves should condemn. And history has even taught us that the electorates are even becoming wiser. If you look at what happened in Asimfosu, where a lot of money was displaced, voters were so able to discern and voted with their conscience and not the inducement. So politicians should come to that realization that the one-off things that they give around voters, close to election or election day, will not necessarily influence people's decision because people may have already made up their mind long enough. And the fact that they took something from you doesn't warrant that they are going to vote for you. So we think that especially these big parties in Ghana, the NPP, the NDC, should come to that realization and desist from inducement so that we'll have people who go out to the polls can go there voting for who they think will better represent them.
I guess this is an issue the OSP should immediately go into, right?
Yeah, in fact, that was something I was going to talk about because I wanted to say that for a long time where we haven't seen so much action around the issue of vote buying and vote selling, we saw a lot of impunity. But for the monitoring that we have done over the years, because almost every election, the Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition and GRI, then the PD, make sure that we monitor these issues of vote buying and abuse of confidence. And we've noticed past the years that because there was no action, people was going and people were even share a lot of goodies on the left day, it's that around police. But since we saw actions from the
MFA, you're making a good point, but your line keeps tripping. I don't know if you can just reposition yourself a bit, and then you make this point for me.
Okay, so please, is it better now?
Yeah, I think it's better now, yes.
Okay, thank you. So my point is that when there was no action in terms of ensuring that people who fall foul of the law are punished, there was a lot of display of this vote buying, at polling stations, even on election days. But we've seen that since the Office of the Special Prosecutor started initiating actions against people who violate the law, we've also seen some significant reduction. For instance, our monitoring of the last election, the last December 2024 election, we've seen some reduction in terms of how people come around to display or give goods, even on election day, packaged food and all that to induce. That has reduced. And we believe that it's also because of the important role that the Office of the Special Prosecutor is playing. So we are calling again on the Office of the Special Prosecutor that it's important that some of the issues that are coming, if we can also pick these up and, if possible, prosecute those who have offended the law in a way that it becomes a deterrent. And I believe the more we continue to do that, the less we will see some of these things happening. Yes, and I also want to use this opportunity to encourage the voters that, it's even not, I don't know how to put this, but as a voter, I think it's a disrespect to you for a political party to think that at the last minute they can come and give you money to induce you to vote for them. I believe that is very disrespectful. If the political party wants to serve you, there are lots of things that they can do for your community, but the money that they dish out, will not bring you development in your community. So citizens and people who are discerning should commit to saying no. And I want to use today, as I said, today is the Africa Anti-Corruption Day. Let us all commit to say no to vote buying and vote selling also, because it's a two-way affair.
Okay.
If the votes are not being sold, there wouldn't be a buyer. So if the politicians can also restrain themselves from selling or buying people's votes, I believe that we can bring this issue.
Okay.
But it is my
hope
that the Office of the Special Prosecutor will make an example of our politicians. Once we have 2, 3, or 4 politicians who are prosecuted on these charges, I believe it will send a good signal to politicians that they cannot continue to disregard our vote buying laws.
Okay, I'm grateful to you, Beauty MFA Nate, for joining us here. She is the Executive Secretary of the GII. Let's take you back now to the grounds in Ablekuma North, where there's more happening. Stay with us here on Election Headquarters.
Let's hear from the legal director for the NDC, Eduji Tamaklo, on what has been happening so far.
No, but I'm saying that, my brother, where is Miracle? What will be the basis of the report? My brother Miracle is not here. I am here. I've actually been talking to the police commander here that we can all ensure that there is calm as we speak. And we are not leaving anything to chance. We are interested in ensuring that there's utmost security here to allow the voting to continue. Anybody I have seen here who has any association with NDC, I've stopped them. Let me calm my people down.
And so you heard that Eduji Tamaklo, who was speaking to us, and the supporters of the party. Some youths are pushing the gate now and wanted to have access to the place. This is the Methodist church, one of the polling stations at Odorkor, where the clash has been happening between some supporters, gentlemen who drove in here on motorbike, a number of them in helmets, some covering their faces, clashing with each other. They just pushed the gate open. You see them there still pushing, forcing the gate to the polling center to be open for them. It is unclear what they want to get access to the place to do, but you have them in your shots there still pushing to get access to the place. We are still unclear which party they support yet and why they want to have access to the place, but you see one of them throws sand. They are throwing sand to the journalists who are on the walls trying to capture the moment. They are throwing sand to them. It is unclear why they are agitated so far, but it's still unclear why they are so agitated amongst themselves. They drove in here on motorbikes, some still in the helmet and pushing gates to be open. The police are yet to effect any arrest amongst them. No one has been arrested so far. I see that Mustafa Gbande. I will try and see if I can speak to him briefly to know what the challenge is and what the boys want, for which reason they are here. But so far, the police as well as the party leadership are trying to calm situation. Mr. Gbande, are trying to calm situation here as we speak. It's unclear what the agitation. I see there a police FPU van also driving to the place with a police officer sitting on top of it. The vehicle is trying to make its way here. Unclear. I see another police patrol vehicle also coming. Mr. Tamaklo, you were speaking to us. Is it clear what the guys were trying to...
I think the guys were saying that they are not comfortable with the presence of Hawa Kumsin here. I pleaded with them that the police have already moved with her through the back door, so she's no longer here. So basically that was it.
Wait, take your time.
Mr. Tamaklo, I just want to find out the boys who are here to demand that she's taken out. Are they your members?
I saw one gentleman talk about pepper spray. And when they talked about the pepper, when they talk about the pepper spray, all that they just said that they are not comfortable with the use of pepper spray here. It's a voting center. I encourage them that the person they have an issue with is no longer here, and so they should leave here and allow the voting to take place. That's all.
I've realized they've listened to you and they have withdrawn. Are they your members?
That I can't confirm immediately. But I've seen my constituency chairman here, but they are not among the people protesting. They want the voting process. Look, as we speak, the Electoral Commission had done a collation of about 262 of the polling stations, and that put the MPP candidate with 48 votes ahead. We want 6,000 people to have their say. That will flip the 48 seats, 48
votes.
So that's what we are determined to get. That's the outcome we are looking for. We are for peace. Remember, we are in government, and so the responsibility is on us, and we will do everything to ensure that there's utmost peace here. Yes.
Thank you. And Director of Legals there for the NDC, Godwin Edwige Tamaklo there, giving us updates on what has been transpiring so far. From the indication, he tells us that they have been trying to, the boys who came here to express their grievance have been trying to make sure that Honorable Hawa Kumsin, the former MP who was here, leaves the place. It's unclear why they are happy with her presence at the voting center. We do not know. But what they've been saying is that she needs to leave the premises, and that arrangement has been made, as is confirmed to us, Honorable Hawa Kumsim have been taken away from the voting center so far, and calm has relatively been restored. The guys have left the place on their motorbikes. There you have them on the streets trying to leave the place. They've all climbed back to their motorbikes and they are making their way out of the place. But what Edwiji Tamaklo could not confirm to us is whether or not these are supporters of his party. But as far as he's concerned, they have listened to them to calm down and they are now making their way out of the place. And so that is the genesis of the chaos that we have seen so far here at the Methodist Church polling center here at Odorkor, where they have been fighting among themselves in the last few minutes, but relative calm have been restored. We'll try and see if we can speak to any of the leadership or the senior officers of the police here who are making sure that there is calm returning to the place to get an official position on what has been happening so far. And so calm has been restored. The police FPU van which moved in has also moved away and parked at the far end to the polling station. A number of the police officers are draped in their gears on standby to enforce the law, to maintain law and order as we speak. So that's the situation. A number of the youth are currently still moving towards the other side of the polling center. You see the police van, FPU, police bus having some number of police officers in there also on standby. The youth have been moving on the street back and forth. It's still unclear what they want as far as the process is concerned. But I can say that relative calm has been restored so far. It is not as chaotic as we have seen in the last few minutes. I see there Malik Basintale making his way to the voting center. The YEA boss making his way to the polling center. And he is the one that is currently drawing the crowd that is coming. And so that's what we're experiencing now. He's trying to get a word from him on why he's here and the whole crowd that has been following him around. Okay, and so they are guiding him out of the place. I'm sure they are going to pick their cars and leave now. And so he's just passing by, and the party supporters are guiding him away from the scene. And so he's going now, and the rest of the crowd are following him. So that's the situation. Briefly chaotic, very chaotic amongst the supporters who are here demanding that the police take action to get away the former MP Hawa Kumsin away from the scene, and the assurance is that she's been taken away from the scene as we speak. And so there is relative calm. The youth are still on the streets and lurking around while the party officers are still trying to do some negotiations and get to nerves station where the chaos has been in the last few minutes. A clash between two groups. The party leadership will not readily tell us whether the members are either members of the NPP or the NDC. But from the assurance we got from the director of legals of the NDC, Edwiji Tamaklo, so far, is that they've been able to negotiate with them, and they have agreed to leave the place. I see them, Mustafa Gbande still trying to engage a number of the youth there to see how they can make sure that total calm returns to the place. I'll try and see if I can get a word from him. Mr. Gbande, I just want to pick a word briefly from you. You've been able to do some negotiation with the youth and they have retreated. What exactly have been their demand? Why they are?
Some level of agitation. You can see this is MP. These are MPP. Okay. This one is NDC. So we are trying to make them. We are the same people. We are the same family. So they will come here.
They will come here. Chief, how is the negotiation going?
Charlie, the negotiation, we are brothers. But right now, because of power change, our brothers, then they beat us. Wow. Like, seriously. But then to have exercise patience to us. Because the game is sometimes changed. We know what they can do because they are in power. But we are begging them. Charlie, he changed. That's why we did in this punishment. But he can change again. But we are brothers. We should think of that. We want peace in this constituency. Like the way we are doing. We are pleading. It should not be fight. A winner should just win. If you are a loser, you accept. So we are pleading to all. We are brothers. The violence is trying to be too much. They should have exercise patience with us.
So your boys have listened to you and they have retreated. Are we sure that they will not return?
No. We are here with them together, and we are trying to bring peace, like they said. You know, like the way we had beaten our Kumsin, but sometimes we feel like they should have patience. You know, everybody.
But why is she here?
She's here because of you know, there is an election going on here. Definitely, I know she was also here to check what is going on. So a lot of people are here. A lot are here that they are also checking, like the NDC, but we are not fighting no one. Okay. We are just trying to bring peace.
Has she been taken away now?
We are now about to check that one. Now I don't know. We are.
Let us read this page. Okay. Thank you. So what's your name?
I'm Ibrahim Mohammed, popularly known as Figo. The MPP. I'm the MPP boy. Yes, man.
Thank you. The gentleman calls himself Figo, and he said he is part of the NPP, and the leadership of the boys have been trying to negotiate, and indicates to me that they've succeeded at the negotiation. It's just beautiful to hear the two of them, he himself and Mustafa Gbande, trying to have a conversation and come to a consensus. And so we can't say for now that so far they have come to an understanding. They admit that the boys are from the two sides, the NDC as well as the NPP, who clash here on the demand that Honorable Hawa Kumsim should leave the premises. And he's been telling me that although this is not her constituency, she's a former MP and also decided to only come and observe the processes as it has been ongoing. And now that they are unhappy and have been able to take her away, calm has been restored so far. And you see in your shot the two of them still having a conversation. They, the NPP and the NDC, Mustafa Gbande and Figo, trying to calm another gentleman there. So they're still trying to get one of the boys out. I don't know what. So it's quite fragile here. Anything leading to a disagreement and between the two sides, and some way, somehow they find a way to resolve it amongst themselves. The police are currently all lined up in front of the main entrance to the polling center, and trying to prevent anybody from having access to the polling center. They are currently lined up there for a human or wall around the place. I can count at least 15 police officers currently in front of the place and not letting anyone have access to the polling center any longer. The situation, there is calm with a bit of disagreement and confrontations among the supporters who are here also observing the situation. It's unclear the identity of the group, and you will barely be able to make them out because they are in any party color, and whether they are in your NPP party color, they are all in mufti and trying to also observe the process, but sometimes lead to some disagreement amongst them every now and then. And so that's the situation here as we speak at the Odorkor polling station, currently here in the Odorkor area. Just gone by was chaos, fight between the two sides of the political divide. Their leaders, Mustafa Gbande is here. The director of legal, Aduji Tameklo, is also here. The two of them have been speaking to us, indicating to us that they've been able to negotiate and get some calm as we speak. And so there is relative calm here at the Odorkor Methodist Church polling station here in the Ablekuma North Constituency. So that's the situation for Brace and Sweetie. Calm has been restored now, and activities have gone back to normal. I'm sure voters are still in queue to vote. I see there the voting area, the table has been cleared. It's unclear why the voting has paused for now. We'll be trying to see if we can get any indication, clearer indication, as to why the voting process has halted so far. The EC officials, you see a number of them sitting there, a gentleman on his phone making call, a party agent actually. I'm sure the EC officials might have been whisked away from the area. The police officers, I count about 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 of them surrounding the ballot box there, trying to secure the ballot box against any form of misunderstanding or chaos that may occur. So that's the situation. Voting has halted as we speak at the Odorkor Methodist Church polling station or polling center here, and the electoral officials have been taken away from the place. You see a number of police officers holding the violence control shields. 4 of them there standing in front, geared up from head to toe in the violence control gear. There with a number of them also standing behind them. I count at least 4, 8, 10 of them in the violence control gear, with 4 of them holding the shield there and on standby. I can confirm to you now that the voting exercise has halted and the area cleared. It's unclear whether they will be continuing with the process or this will be the end of voting here at this particular polling station. But what we can say is that relative calm has been restored, but the process has halted while the party leadership are still engaging in some level of negotiation. I see there Edwige Tameklo and Mustafa Gbande in a hearty conversation there between the two of them. It's unclear what they are having a conversation about, but I'm sure it is all in a bid to arrive as a consensus and try and find a way to resume the voting process as well. And so as we speak now, the process has ended. The police vehicle still on the street, and a police officer there in that pickup with a camera also trying to catch a glimpse and record what is happening. A number of them I have been with body cams, also monitoring the process. And so that's the situation. You see there, the party officials, both the NDC and the NPP, engaging in a conversation there. It is unclear what the final determination of the situation would be, but as we speak, the process has come to a halt here at the Odorkor Methodist polling center here in the Ablekuma North constituency after all the chaos and the fighting between the political parties.
Well, that's my colleague James Aveji, who is at the Odorkor Methodist now, giving us a commentary on what exactly is happening there. Earlier, I suspected that the electoral processes might have halted. He's confirmed that that is likely the case. But as to how those men could invade the polling center to do that, and we are being told that it is because of their a protest against the presence of Howard Compson at the polling station. It's quite mind-boggling, to say the least, that really we've turned this simple exercise of rerunning 19 polling centers. And if you go by what's happening, it looks like the Odorkor Methodist is where that chaos has been witnessed so far. But this isn't good. It isn't good at all. I remember some time ago, after the Ayawaso incident, the white paper that was released, the report that was released, recommended the collapse of all politically bagged militia groups. So as to why this is coming up now is something that really I don't seem to understand. And the fact that the young lady has been beaten, has been assaulted the way she has, is something I cannot really comprehend. But let's see how this goes. We're still there, no matter what, to bring you the coverage of whatever is happening in the 19 polling centers. And Isaac Ofeje, we have nine more minutes for us to hand over to Sutia Bochi. I mean, you were taking us through the polling centers that are hotspots, or like that the party should be focusing on. One of them is the Methodist Church, where that chaos has broken out. Yeah. Don't go there again. Let's go to the other places.
I mean, it's still important for us to focus on Methodists because we're expecting some 464 registered voters to come there and vote.
But how are they beating people?
Exactly my point. So per what we have seen so far and the chaos, if there is anybody watching at home, I mean, it's a big disincentive for people to come out and to actually come and vote.
Okay, let's take you down there to the grounds.
The process has been halted and that they are trying to resolve the situation for the process to resume so far. What have you also been observing so far?
You see, I'm in Kenya and I'm in English.
Speak English to me.
Oh, English is the bed. I'm in Kenya and I'm coming. I hear now. This information never na peno. Open how I didn't na say. Nia, how I didn't how I come back no panel on or coy. I know some baby. Toba and I say a casacasa cacra bass into pepper spray, spray cacra. Tell my support on the buffy. Aha, until a man.
Okay, so the guy there is an eyewitness and was telling James how the whole thing, came about.
What we are also learning is that the process has been halted. For
yes.
And I mean, what the number that is at stake is 464 registered voters. Looking at the current turnout, I mean, in fact, if these people are actually deprived, and I mean, time is still going. By 5 o'clock, I think polls should be closed, and so if the chaos continues, and then you do not allow these people to also come and vote, that could have actually a dent on the outcome of the election. And we understand that even with the previous one, it was this same station that, I mean, confusion erupted.
Because that is where they were doing the coalition.
Exactly. Yeah. And in fact, the same thing has been repeated. It simply means that we've not learned our lessons, right? And I must make the point again that this is a big disincentive for the 464 registered voters who will be watching, and then whether on TV or as bystanders on the road, and saying that, how do I go into that place to go and cast my ballot? Because, I mean, the moment I go in, I don't know which group will decide to come in again. And that is an enclosed area. It means that if you enter there and then there's another confusion, the probability of you getting out is also...
Okay.
I mean,
let's look at the other places.
So there are other polling stations that have higher numbers, and we were looking at, you know, a place like the Lost Pentecostal Church, 563 registered voters expected to go and vote there. There was another polling station that I saw, Atiko School Complex. I think this is the highest so far, 643. Ateko, right? It will be Ateko, school complex. It will be interesting to see what is happening there at the moment. And we know our men and women on the grounds will be bringing us the picture very soon. But 645 registered voters expected to vote there. Brace, we have to end on a note that everything will be boiled down to turnout. Yeah. It depends on who is able to convince more people to go out there and go and vote. What we know is that the propensity to vote in Ablekuma North has been on a decline since 2012. What will be its impact on this election? Even in periods where there was no confusion, there was a decline in voter turnout. How much more when we have pockets of violence scattered across the length and breadth of the 19 polling stations so far, Bruce?
Quite a point to note there. But one thing we can assure you is that our cameras will be everywhere in the constituency to bring you that whatever is happening in the constituency. So stay with us here on your election headquarters, JoyNews, as we bring you undiluted coverage of whatever is happening. We will be beating, but we can assure you that we won't leave. We'll be there to bring you whatever that we have to get you to know. This is JoyNews. We'll take a break. When we come back, Suti Abochi will be here on your channel.